Have you ever opened your eyes and felt like the day had already begun without you? It's this quiet, hard-to-name pool, a subtle haze hanging between yesterday and the day ahead. But that first transition of consciousness follows its own biological rhythm most people never see. In those initial 60 to 90 seconds, your brain enters what science calls the hypnopompic state. The part of your mind that makes deliberate choices is still coming online, while older emotional centers are already active, reaching for familiar patterns. This window isn't a flaw in your character. Once you truly see what happens inside it, mornings stop feeling like something that happens to you. This isn't something we just discovered. Human beings have understood the quiet importance of those first moments after waking for centuries. In traditional Japan, they gave those early minutes a special name, Asa Ichiban. It meant the first of the morning, not simply the time on the clock, but the moment that carried the most weight. The first thought they allowed in, the first words they chose to speak, the first action they decided to take. They noticed that whatever happened in Asa Ichiban had a way of coloring the rest of the day. It set a tone that often lasted. They didn't rush past it. They treated it with care. People there would pause right after opening their eyes. They let the mind settle before the world rushed in. A single, clear intention placed early could guide everything that followed. They saw how the mind was most open then, most receptive, most able to hold on to what mattered. Far away in West Africa, the Yoruba people approached the same idea in their own way. They practiced what they called knowledge. Before stepping from their private space into the shared world outside, they created an intentional separation, a brief time to collect themselves, to remember their own center, to choose the spirit they would carry forward. This wasn't something hurried. It was a deliberate bridge between who they were in stillness and who they would become in the day ahead. In the villages of West Africa, this practice happened naturally. A few quiet moments at first light, enough to feel steady before the day's demands began. They understood that the mind in those early minutes was like fresh soil. Whatever seed you placed there grew strongest. They protected it so the rest of the hours could follow with greater calm. And long ago, in the 6th century in Europe, the Benedictine monks built this understanding into their daily life. They rose for vigils well before the sun came up. They didn't do it only for discipline. They wanted to greet the coming day while they were still fully themselves, before the world's demands began to press upon them, before other voices and needs started to shape their thoughts. They protected that early darkness so they could begin from a place of inner quiet rather than outer pressure. The monks in their European monasteries followed this rhythm every single day, rising in the dark, standing together in prayer, meeting the light while their minds were still their own. They knew the hours after waking held a special openness. They used it to set their direction before the day took over. 3 cultures, 3 continents, 1 clear recognition. They had all watched life closely enough to see that the beginning matters. Not in some mystical way, but in a very human way. The mind is most open then. The direction is easiest to set. A small choice early can echo through everything that follows. People in Japan noticed how the first thought seemed to travel farther than thoughts that arrived later. The Yoruba people in West Africa felt the difference between a day that started from their own center and one that started from someone else's pull. The Benedictine monks in the 6th century experienced the calm that came when they met the daylight already steady inside. These groups never met. They shared no common books or teachers, yet each arrived at the same quiet truth through patient observation over generations. They saw what happened when the first moments were guarded, and they saw what happened when those moments were left unguarded. The outcome was the same across oceans and centuries. We live surrounded by alarms that pull us awake instantly, by screens that demand our attention the moment our eyes open, by information that never stops arriving. And yet, we may be the first generation that has largely decided those first moments don't deserve our attention. The early interval still exists. The mind still opens in the same sensitive way it always did. The power of the beginning hasn't changed. What has changed is our willingness to notice it. This attention to the start of the day isn't a new idea. It is one of the oldest human insights we have. Different peoples in different places found their own way to protect and use that early space. They treated it with respect because experience had taught them its quiet power. Most of us today move through those moments without noticing. We reach for our phones. We let yesterday's worries or today's plans rush in before we've even sat up. The mind fills quickly, and by the time we realize it, the day has already taken its shape from whatever arrived first. But when you look at these traditions spread across the world and across time, a larger picture emerges. This attention to the beginning of the day isn't a trend. It is something woven into how humans have always tried to live well. The question isn't whether this early window matters. People throughout history already answered that. The question is why we, with all our knowledge and tools, have become perhaps the first generation to treat it as if it doesn't. Why have we walked away from something so many before us protected? What have we lost in the process?
Your brain isn't you yet in those first moments after you wake up. There is a short window most people never notice. Science has a name for it. It's called the hypnopompic state. In the first 60 to 90 seconds, the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain right behind your forehead that handles clear judgment and planning, is still coming online. It isn't running at full power yet. Most people feel the effects without ever knowing the name or the reason. This isn't weakness. This is biology. What does that mean in practice? The mind feels busy before you've had a single clear thought. The body tenses slightly. The breathing changes just a little. And all of it happens in those first seconds when the thinking centers are still waking up. You've probably felt it many times. You open your eyes and already something is tugging at you. A familiar unease about the day ahead. An old habit of reaching for the phone before you've even sat up. You try to reason with it immediately. You try to push the thought aside or talk yourself out of it. But the part of the brain that could do the reasoning isn't ready yet. While the prefrontal cortex is still getting started, the limbic system is already fully active. It starts pulling in whatever feels most familiar. The worry you carried yesterday, the reaction you've repeated for years. It doesn't wait for permission. It just moves. Most people wake up and sense that sudden pull right away. The mind feels crowded right from the start. Thoughts arrive faster than you can sort them. Emotions show up before any plan forms. You might notice your shoulders tighten or your jaw clench without knowing why. These are the old reflexes stepping in first. The prefrontal cortex needs those 60 to 90 seconds to reach full speed. Until then, it can't plan effectively or weigh choices the way it does later in the day. The limbic system doesn't have that delay. It is ready from the first instant. That difference creates the hidden variable that shapes so many mornings. You felt this pull before, the way a single worry can take over before you've even stood up, the way your thoughts race toward problems that haven't happened yet, the way your body reacts as if the day has already started without you. These aren't signs of poor discipline. They are signs that one part of the brain is still waking, while another is already running at full speed. Most people blame themselves when the day feels off from the start. They think they lack discipline or clarity. They don't realize they are trying to steer the car while the steering wheel is still being installed. The real issue isn't that you can't control your thoughts in that moment. The issue is you're trying to control them at the exact time your brain doesn't have the tools to do it. So the real question isn't how to be stronger in that moment. It's what you can set up before it arrives. But here's where it gets complicated. Most people's first instinct is to push the thought away. And that instinct, it turns out, is exactly the wrong one. You wake up and the first thing you notice is a tightness in your chest, or a loop of yesterday's unfinished task playing in your head. You tell yourself to stop. You try to focus on something positive, yet the feeling lingers. It grows. Because the part that could truly choose hasn't arrived yet. This window repeats every single morning, 60 to 90 seconds where the emotional centers lead and the thinking centers follow. You might lie there and feel the day already slipping away, or you sit up and reach for your phone without thinking. These small actions happen so fast you barely register them, but they set the tone. The prefrontal cortex sits quietly in those early seconds. It handles decisions and focus once it's online. The limbic system doesn't wait. It grabs the nearest familiar feeling, an old anxiety about work, a habit of checking messages,
A memory of something you meant to do yesterday. None of it is new. None of it is chosen in the moment. It simply arrives first. You've experienced this shift many mornings. The mind feels alert but scattered. The body feels ready but tense. Thoughts come in waves before any real direction forms. You might notice your breathing quickens slightly. Your attention jumps from one thing to another, all before you've even left the bed. People often describe it as waking up already behind, or waking up already worried. They don't know the name of the state or the exact timing. They just know the feeling is there almost immediately, and they try to fight it right then and there. But fighting in those 60 to 90 seconds is like trying to read a book while the lights are still dim. The tools aren't fully there. The limbic system keeps the old stories playing. The prefrontal cortex is still warming up. So the familiar worries stay longer than they need to. This isn't about lacking willpower. It's about the order in which different parts of the brain wake up. The emotional side wakes first. The planning side follows a few seconds later. That small delay changes everything if you don't know it's happening. Most of us spend years trying to fix the wrong moment. We wait until the feeling is strong and then try to reason with it. We push and push, yet the push itself adds more tension because the brain part that could calm things down isn't online yet. The hidden variable is simple. Those first seconds belong to the older part of the brain. The newer part needs time. When you understand that, you stop blaming yourself for the early chaos. You start seeing it as a timing issue rather than a character issue. You might notice it in small ways. The way you automatically think about the hardest task first. The way a minor worry feels huge right after waking. The way your mind replays conversations from the day before. These aren't random. They are the limbic system doing what it does best, bringing up what it knows. The prefrontal cortex eventually catches up. Once it does, you can plan and choose with more clarity. But in those initial 60 to 90 seconds, it simply isn't there yet. So the day often begins with whatever the emotional side offers first. People who feel stuck in their mornings usually try harder in the moment. They set stricter rules. They force positive thoughts. They fight the first worry that appears. None of it works as well as it could because they are fighting at the wrong time. The real shift happens when you accept the timing. You stop trying to control the uncontrollable window.
You prepare something different to meet the mind when it opens. Something that can sit there quietly until the thinking centers arrive. This changes how the whole morning feels. The early pull loses its power. The familiar worries don't take root as deeply. You move through the day with a different starting point, not because you forced yourself to be stronger in the moment, but because you understood the moment itself. The science behind it is clear. The hypnopompic state lasts 60 to 90 seconds on average. The prefrontal cortex ramps up during that time. The limbic system is already there. That single difference explains why so many mornings feel heavy before anything has really begun. You've lived this hundreds of times. You wake, the mind fills, you react. Then later you wonder why the day felt off from the start. Now you see the hidden variable. Now you know the exact window where everything is decided before you even realize it. The question stops being why you can't control your thoughts right after waking. The question becomes what you can place in the mind before those 60 to 90 seconds even begin. But here's where it gets complicated. Most people's first instinct is to push the thought away. And that instinct, it turns out, is exactly the wrong one.
The harder you push it away, the stronger it gets. Once you see what happens in those first 60 to 90 seconds, it feels obvious what to do next. You decide the smart move is to catch the unwanted thought right away and push it out. You tell yourself not to let it stay. You refuse to give it any room. It seems like the responsible choice. It seems like real control. But that choice is exactly where the morning begins to slip. In 1987, psychologist Daniel Wegner at Harvard University set up a straightforward test. He asked ordinary people to spend 5 minutes not thinking about a white bear. Just that one instruction. Keep the image of a white bear completely out of your mind for the next 5 minutes. Try it for yourself right now. For the next few seconds, think of anything except a white bear. Most people find the white bear appears almost instantly, and it keeps coming back. The group told to suppress the thought ended up thinking about the white bear far more often than the group given no instructions at all. Wegner named this the ironic process theory. The mind does something unexpected when you try to block a thought. To make sure the thought stays away, part of the mind has to keep checking whether it has returned. That constant check brings the thought right back into focus. The more effort you put into pushing it away, the more attention the thought receives. The more attention it receives, the more power it gains. The brain does not delete thoughts on command. It cannot simply erase something because you demand it. What the brain can do is replace one thought with another. But when your entire focus stays on what you do not want, you leave nothing prepared to take its place. You create an empty space, and something always rushes in to fill it. You have lived this exact loop on countless mornings. You open your eyes, and a familiar worry is already there. You immediately try to push it away. You tell yourself not to think about it. You try to shift your attention somewhere else, yet the thought returns within seconds, often louder than before. You push harder. It comes back stronger. You may stay in bed for several minutes, trapped in this silent battle, while your body has not even moved. This struggle unfolds right inside the window, when the prefrontal cortex is still coming online. The part that could help you choose with calm is not yet at full strength. Meanwhile, the emotional centers are already wide awake and responsive. The very effort to suppress gives them more fuel to work with. Most people have approached their mornings this way for years. They wake up, the first thought feels heavy. They reject it. The rejection makes it louder. They reject it again. The cycle repeats.
By the time they sit up, the emotional tone of the day has already been shaped by the fight itself. You have felt this pull before. You lie there trying not to worry about the meeting later. The worry grows anyway. You sit up and try not to think about the unfinished task from yesterday. The task fills your head even faster. You reach for your phone to distract yourself. The distraction only brings new worries in their place. Each attempt to push away seems logical in the moment. Each attempt leaves you feeling more tangled. The brain doesn't delete, it replaces. When your only strategy is removal, you create a vacuum that the faster emotional part of the brain quickly fills, usually with the most familiar version of the very thought you were trying to escape. This has been the quiet assumption many of us have carried for a long time. We believed that true mental strength meant being able to forcefully push unwanted thoughts out of our minds the moment they appeared. We thought discipline looked like rejection and resistance. The research shows this assumption is not just unhelpful, it is exactly backwards.
The real shift begins when you stop trying to create emptiness and start choosing what to place in the mind instead. You stop fighting the thought the moment it appears. You prepare something different to greet the mind when it first opens in those early seconds. You wake up, and the first thing you notice is a tightness in your chest. You tell yourself not to feel it. The tightness stays. You wake up, and an old conversation replays in your head. You command yourself to stop. The conversation gets clearer. You wake up, and a deadline feels impossible. You force yourself to think positive. The deadline feels even heavier. These are not random failures of willpower. They are the natural result of trying to control the mind at the exact time when the controlling part is not yet ready. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. Viktor Frankl expressed this truth when he wrote those words. That space is not made larger by pushing thoughts away. It is made larger by consciously placing something else there first. Understanding this single idea can change how you experience every morning. You no longer see yourself as someone who must win a fight against their own mind the moment they wake up. You begin to see yourself as someone who can set the direction before the old thoughts have a chance to claim the space. The internal struggle loses its power when you realize the game was never about pushing harder. It was always about choosing what comes first. You might notice the difference the very next morning. Instead of meeting the first worry with resistance, you meet it with a prepared alternative. The worry still arrives, but it does not take root as deeply. The emotional tone stays lighter. The day begins with more room to breathe. Not because you forced yourself to be stronger in the moment, but because you understood the moment itself. People who have felt stuck in their mornings usually double down on the same strategy. They set stricter rules. They force positive thoughts. They fight the first worry that appears. None of it works as well as it could because they are fighting at the wrong time. The real shift happens when you accept the timing. You stop trying to control the uncontrollable window. You prepare something different to meet the mind when it opens. Something that can sit there quietly until the thinking centers arrive. This changes how the whole morning feels. The early pull loses its power. The familiar worries don't take root as deeply. You move through the day with a different starting point. Not because you forced yourself to be stronger in the moment, but because you understood the moment itself. The science behind it is clear. The attempt to suppress creates its own momentum. The mind checks for the unwanted thought. The check brings the thought forward. The thought gains strength. The cycle repeats. Each morning you have spent fighting this way has followed the same invisible path. You've lived this hundreds of times. You wake. The mind fills. You react. Then later you wonder why the day felt off from the start.
Now you see the hidden assumption that kept the cycle alive. Now you know the exact window where everything is decided before you even realize it. The question stops being why you can't control your thoughts right after waking. The question becomes what you can place in the mind before those 60 to 90 seconds even begin. And here's the part most people don't see coming. What you replace it with doesn't just stay in your own head, it moves. And here's the part most people don't see coming. What you replace it with doesn't just stay in your own head, it moves. In 1990, a team of neuroscientists at the University of Parma in Italy made an unexpected discovery. They were studying the brains of macaque monkeys. They placed electrodes in certain areas to record activity while the monkeys reached for food or performed simple tasks. Then they noticed something remarkable. The same neurons that fired when the monkey did the action also fired when the monkey watched another monkey or a human perform the same action. Those cells became known as mirror neurons. The discovery at the University of Parma in 1990 showed that our brains are wired to reflect the actions and states of others around us. It opened a new understanding of how connected minds really are. Later research confirmed that humans have mirror neurons too. They help us sense what other people are experiencing. They allow us to feel the emotions of others almost as if they were our own. This isn't something you have to try to do. It happens automatically. You walk into a space and the mood shifts your own mood. You don't need words. The mirror neurons do the work. But the influence goes deeper than just actions. It includes emotions. In 2003, psychologist Elaine Hatfield and her colleagues at the University of Hawaii studied how emotions spread between people. They called it emotional contagion. They found that one person's internal state can transfer to others through subtle cues like breathing rate, posture, facial expression, and the way they occupy space. The study from Elaine Hatfield in 2003 at the University of Hawaii showed that this contagion can happen in less than 1 second of contact. You've probably noticed this in your own life. You spend time with someone who is calm and centered. You start to feel calmer too. You enter a room where someone is anxious. You feel the tension in your own body even if no one has said anything. The mirror neurons pick up on these cues. The emotional contagion then spreads the state. This means your morning state isn't just for you, it travels. You come home after starting the day with a calm mind. Your family senses it.
The atmosphere in the house feels lighter. No one may comment on it, but everyone responds to it. Or you walk into a meeting room. The group is tense from the morning rush. If you have prepared a steady internal state, your presence can shift the room. People breathe a little easier. The conversation flows differently. Again, it happens without words. This isn't magic. This is biology. The discovery at the University of Parma in 1990 and the research from Elaine Hatfield in 2003 at the University of Hawaii together show that your internal state affects the people around you in real, measurable ways. Most people spend their mornings focused only on their own thoughts. They try to fix their own mind for their own benefit. They don't realize that the state they carry becomes part of every interaction they have that day. You have felt the opposite side of this. You've been around someone who is scattered or worried. The energy in the room changes. You feel it. You may even take on some of that worry without meaning to. The reverse is also true. When someone enters with a clear and steady presence, the room feels different. The people in it respond. Building a stable state in those first seconds of the morning isn't just a personal practice.
It is something you bring into every conversation, every room, every relationship. The question is no longer whether this early attention matters only for you. The question becomes, who in your life will feel the difference? You might notice it in small moments. A parent who has prepared a calm start comes home. The children sense the difference. The evening feels easier. Conversations flow. No one explains it. It just happens. Or in the office, a colleague who has set their mind early walks into a stressful meeting. The tension eases slightly. People listen more. Decisions come easier. The presence alone does part of the work. These effects aren't dramatic. They are quiet. They are consistent. They build over time.
Most people focus their efforts on changing their own thoughts for their own sake. They miss the larger picture. The state you create in the morning becomes part of the world you share with others. When you understand this, the motivation changes. It is no longer only about feeling better yourself. It is about what you bring into the lives of the people you care about. The morning is no longer just your private moment. It is the moment when you decide what kind of presence you will carry into the day. That presence touches the people closest to you first. Then it spreads further. You wake up and prepare a steady state. Your partner notices the difference when you greet them. The children feel it when you sit with them at breakfast. The tone of the whole house shifts in small but real ways. You arrive at work with that same steady state. The team in the meeting room picks it up. The conversation stays clearer. People make decisions with less friction. No one points it out. They simply respond. You have probably been on the receiving end of this without realizing it. Someone walks into your space with a settled mind. You feel the shift. The day feels a little lighter. You breathe a little easier. That is the mirror system and emotional contagion at work in reverse. The science from the University of Parma in 1990 and from Elaine Hatfield in 2003 at the University of Hawaii makes this connection clear. Your internal state is not locked inside you. It radiates outward through the way you move, the way you breathe, the way you hold yourself. This is why the early window matters in a larger way than most people ever consider. You might notice it in the way conversations change. You might notice it in the way people relax around you. You might notice it in the way conflicts resolve more quickly. These are not coincidences. They are the natural result of the state you set before the day begins. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. William James, the American psychologist and philosopher from the early 20th century, wrote those words. But James didn't mention what comes next. That choice doesn't stop with you. Your choice in the morning ripples outward. It touches the people you live with. It influences the people you work with. It shapes the atmosphere in the spaces you enter. This is why the morning window matters in a larger way than most people ever consider. You might notice it in small moments. A parent who has prepared a calm start comes home. The children sense the difference. The evening feels easier. Conversations flow. No one explains it. It just happens. Or in the office, a colleague who has set their mind early walks into a stressful meeting. The tension eases slightly. People listen more. Decisions come easier. The presence alone does part of the work. These effects aren't dramatic. They are quiet. They are consistent. They build over time. Most people focus their efforts on changing their own thoughts for their own sake. They miss the larger picture. The state you create in the morning becomes part of the world you share with others. When you understand this, the motivation changes. It is no longer only about feeling better yourself.
It is about what you bring into the lives of the people you care about. The morning is no longer just your private moment. It is the moment when you decide what kind of presence you will carry into the day. That presence touches the people closest to you first. Then it spreads further. You wake up and prepare a steady state. Your partner notices the difference when you greet them. The children feel it when you sit with them at breakfast. The tone of the whole house shifts in small but real ways. You arrive at work with that same steady state. The team in the meeting room picks it up. The conversation stays clearer. People make decisions with less friction. No one points it out.
They simply respond. You have probably been on the receiving end of this without realizing it. Someone walks into your space with a settled mind. You feel the shift. The day feels a little lighter. You breathe a little easier. That is the mirror system and emotional contagion at work in reverse. The science from the University of Parma in 1990 and from Elaine Hatfield in 2003 at the University of Hawaii makes this connection clear. Your internal state is not locked inside you. It radiates outward through the way you move, the way you breathe, the way you hold yourself. This is why the early window matters in a larger way than most people ever consider. You might notice it in the way conversations change. You might notice it in the way people relax around you. You might notice it in the way conflicts resolve more quickly. These are not coincidences. They are the natural result of the state you set before the day begins. The discovery at the University of Parma in 1990 and the research from Elaine Hatfield in 2003 at the University of Hawaii together show that your internal state affects the people around you in real, measurable ways. Most people spend their mornings focused only on their own thoughts. They try to fix their own mind for their own benefit. They don't realize that the state they carry becomes part of every interaction they have that day. You have felt the opposite side of this. You've been around someone who is scattered or worried. The energy in the room changes. You feel it. You may even take on some of that worry without meaning to. The reverse is also true. When someone enters with a clear and steady presence, the room feels different. The people in it respond. Building a stable state in those first seconds of the morning isn't just a personal practice. It is something you bring into every conversation, every room, every relationship. The question is no longer whether this early attention matters only for you. The question becomes, who in your life will feel the difference? But knowing all of this doesn't make the change easy. There's a phase most people hit and quit without knowing it has a name. But knowing all of this doesn't make the change easy. There's a phase most people hit and quit without knowing it has a name. The valley of despair is that phase. It is the period in behavioral psychology between the moment you first recognize the problem and the moment you begin to see clear results. It is not the most painful, it is the most deceptive. Everything looks like failure. The old thoughts still arrive. The new approach feels awkward. The mind feels no different. Most people reach this point and conclude the change is not working. They return to the old habits. They decide it was a nice idea, but not for them. You have probably felt this pull in other areas of life. You start a new habit. At first, there is excitement. Then, the results don't show. The effort feels wasted. The doubt creeps in. You think, this isn't for me. That is the valley of despair at work. It is the stage where most people quit, not because the approach is wrong, but because the feeling of no progress looks exactly like failure. You wake up and try the new way. The first few days feel promising. Then, the old pattern returns. You feel the same pull. You think the whole thing is not working. You stop. That is the valley of despair. You try again the next morning.
The same doubt returns. You feel the same frustration. This is the valley of despair. It looks like failure. It feels like failure. But it is the bridge to real change. The 4 stages of competence come from research on how people learn new skills. It describes 4 levels of awareness and ability. The first stage is unconscious incompetence. You don't know what you don't know. You don't even see the problem. The second stage is conscious incompetence. This is where most people get stuck in the morning practice.
You now know enough to see the gap between where you are and where you want to be. You see the old reflexes, you see the timing of the brain, but you don't yet have the skill to change them quickly. The feeling is uncomfortable. It feels like you are not cut out for this. It feels like you are failing. Most people mistake this stage for the end. They think the discomfort means the approach is not right for them. They quit before they reach the next stage. The third stage is conscious competence. You can do the new skill, but it takes effort and attention. The fourth stage is unconscious competence. The new way becomes automatic. The hardest stage is not the first one. It is the second, conscious incompetence. The gap is visible. The skill is not yet there. The feeling is that of being stuck. You have felt this in learning anything new. You understand the concept, but the execution is clumsy. The frustration builds. You want to stop. In the morning practice, the same thing happens. You understand the science. You see the window. You try to prepare something different, but the old thoughts still come. The replacement doesn't feel natural yet. The discomfort makes you want to quit. You sit with the new approach. The old thought arrives. You notice it sooner than before, but you still can't stop it immediately. The frustration rises. You think you are not progressing. Yet this is the sign that the skill is building. The signs of real progress are not what most people expect. It is not feeling better right away. It is noticing the old reflexes sooner, even if you can't stop them yet. The time between the reflex and your awareness of it shortens. It might start as 1 hour after waking before you notice you are in the old pattern. Then it becomes 30 minutes, then 10 minutes. The gap between automatic and conscious gets smaller. This shortening is the real sign that change is happening. It is not dramatic, it is quiet, it is steady. Feeling like it isn't working is often the sign that it is. The discomfort you have been reading as failure is actually proof you are on the right path. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. James Clear wrote that in Atomic Habits in 2018. Systems are not built by inspiration. They are built through the very phase where you see no change happening. This is the boundary most people never cross. They assume the discomfort means they are on the wrong path. They turn back. They miss the progress that is already beginning under the surface. The valley of despair, the 4 stages of competence, and the shortening gap between reflex and awareness all point to the same truth. The feeling of failure is often the last obstacle before the change takes hold. What if the discomfort you've been reading as failure is actually proof you're on the right path? That same feeling you know so well. You open your eyes, and the day already feels like it has started without you. There is that quiet, hard-to-name pull, that subtle haze hanging between yesterday and the day ahead. You used to wake up and sense you were already behind, even though you hadn't done anything yet. You now understand what is really happening in that moment. In the hypnopompic state, in those first 90 seconds after waking, your brain isn't fully you yet. The part that handles clear judgment, planning, and deliberate choice is still coming online. It is not running at full power.
The older emotional centers have already started. They reach for what feels most familiar. The worries you carried yesterday. The reactions you have practiced for years. They do not wait. They simply move first. This is not weakness. This is biology. Biology isn't destiny. You once woke up and immediately began the fight. You pushed the thoughts away. You tried to force your mind somewhere else. The harder you pushed, the more they returned. You spent those early minutes tangled in an internal battle you could never quite win. You thought it was a problem of discipline. You thought it was a problem of willpower. Now you see it was a problem of timing. You used to leave that window unguarded. The day took its shape from whatever arrived first. You carried that shape forward. Sometimes the weight stayed with you for hours. Sometimes it stayed with you all day. You felt it, but didn't know where it began. Now you know the window. You know the exact seconds where the direction is easiest to set. You know why small choices made early can echo through everything that follows. Tomorrow morning, that same window will open again. In those first 90 seconds before your brain is completely yours, something will be waiting there. Will it be the same familiar thoughts that have always arrived first? Or will it be something you have intentionally placed there? Something prepared to meet your mind when it is most open and most receptive. The power of the morning no longer feels distant. It no longer feels like something that happens to you. It feels like a choice you are now able to make. If this changed how you see your mornings, there's more to explore. The next video goes further into one specific part of this, the part most people skip entirely.